to expunge that aspect. But I mean, this is a straight matter where the Speaker 229, where the Speaker is of the opinion that the words that have been used in debate are defamatory, indecent, unparliamentary, or undignified. The Speaker shall order that such words be expunged from the official record of Parliament. I therefore want to take this opportunity to exercise my power and order that that part is expunged. Thank you. The part, let me be specific. One, where the Speaker, the presiding officer, was accused of aiding. Number two, where the House was accused of being involved in a drama. No. Yeah, there is, and on both sides. If Honorable Semuju also put it on that side. Okay? Honorable Jonathan Oduro has reminded me that we've ever done a drama here on several occasions. Let me stick to that one over choosing the Speaker. Okay? The rest are debatable. We check our conduct. Okay? Point of privilege? Honorable.
Yes, sir. Let me be very clear. Thank you. That I don't mind the banter between myself and the Honorable Ma. We normally do that. And I cannot take that to be personal. Because I normally do it to others, and I don't take offense when somebody does that. But then, the matter of privilege is that representation is a right and an obligation. For a minister to come here and does not answer directly the question you have asked, and simply veers into banter, is a problem. And then it disappears. And when we rise on procedure matter, to put him correctly to answer the questions, Mr. Speaker, undermines our role of representation. I want to be on record that Honorable did not answer anything. He simply veered into banter and disappeared, Mr. Speaker. And I'm not sure those who read the question they raised and his answers, how they rate him, and how we shall go back to our people that one of these questions answered will judge the Honorable Mao. So other than speaking in colloquial English, he answered nothing. So I don't know how you guide Honorable Speaker when our role is undermined and the member simply veers, fails to answer, and then takes first leave.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, I think Honorable Mao answered, but not to your satisfaction. I think that's what the record should capture. He answered, but not to your satisfaction. Okay? Number two, honorable colleagues, it is difficult for me to say, no, Honorable Minister, the answer you've given is not satisfactory. So go and bring another good answer. But now, a minister, most of these issues, he's committing government. He needs to go back and consult. He might make commitments here which are not tenable. He reaches in the cabinet, they are not allowed. And then we hold him accountable here. Honorable Minister, you promised this. So like we said that he updates us next week. Let this continue. Let it be a continuous process. Honorable colleagues, next item, our time is gone. We are already 4 p.m. I'm going to, let us first do item 7, then we come back to item 6.
Item 7 on the order paper, statement by the Right Honorable Prime Minister on government business for succeeding week, 11-13 February 2025, pursuant to Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure.
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank members for welcoming our speakers and deputy speakers from Kakumiro district. You are most welcome. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I move under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure that requires me as the leader of government business to make a statement in the House regarding the government business of the succeeding week. I therefore submit the following businesses for the succeeding week from 11th to 13th February 2025. 1. The Uganda Railways Bill 2025. 2. The Minister of Health will give a statement on the status of the monkeypox disease in the country, Ebola outbreak in the country, and the cholera outbreak in Lamu district local government. Number 3, a statement by the Minister for Presidency on the commemoration of Archbishop Janan Rumu's Memorial Day. That Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Number 4, a statement by the Minister for Kampala and the Metropolitan Area on the status of solid waste or garbage management in the Greater Kampala and Metropolitan areas. Number 5, the statement by the Minister of Water and Environment on the weather forecast in the country. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Next, Right Honorable Prime Minister, sorry. Next item.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament authorize government to allocate budgets for the financial year 2024/2025 and revise work plans for the second batch of institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures in brackets RAPEX reform.
Honorable Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion for the House to consider reallocation of budget estimates for financial year 2024-25 and revision of work plans for the institutions affected under rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures reform, commonly known as RAPEX. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Is the motion seconded? The Government Chief Whip, Honorable Pachito, Honorable Katumba, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Moroni, Honorable Komake, Honorable Norman, and many members of the House. Honorable Minister, I want to speak to your motion. And Honorable Remricha was the first
Thank
to
you.
stand up.
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, in accordance with Section 19 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, and Rule 56 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I have moved a motion to consider the work plans for the second batch of institutions affected by rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure reform. Right Honorable Speaker, His Excellency the President assented to an additional 9 bills following parliamentary approval. To ensure uninterrupted service delivery as we implement the transition process, there is a need to transfer or reallocate the prospective budgets of the affected institutions to enable the receiving institutions take on the rationalized functions. Right Honorable Speaker, we are required to reallocate budgets and revised work plans for the following 13 institutions. 1. Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA. 2. Uganda Road Fund. 3. Ministry of Works and Transport. 4. Dairy Development Authority. 5. National Agricultural Advisory Services, NADS. 6. Cotton Development Organization. 7. Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA. 8, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries, Uganda Free Zone Authority, 10, Export Promotion Board, and Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority. And the second last, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and 13, Higher Education Students Financing Board. Mr. Speaker, a total of 2.4 trillion is the approved budget for rationalized institutions. At the end of quarter 2, an amount of Uganda shillings 1.17 trillion had been released,
leaving a balance of Uganda shillings 1.27 trillion, of which 33.39 billion is a projected saving as disaggregated in the annex which I will lay on table. The above savings are to be realized from board expenses, medical expenses, NSSF, contract gratuity, and rationalization of staff and their salaries. Therefore, the funds available for transfer amounts to Uganda shillings 1.241 trillion. Right Honorable Speaker, the above savings will be deducted from the affected votes in the MTF for financial year 2025-2026. However, in the current financial year, the releases, the affected votes will be reduced by the computed savings and repurposed finance some of the emerging funding needs during the year and will be presented to this House for approval. Mr. Speaker, you may wish to note that the funds for retrenchment costs for the affected staff under the above institutions will be provided this financial year 2024-25 in line with the recommendations of the Ministry of Public Service. The retrenchment costs were not included in the approved budget for financial year 24-25 since the bills had not yet been assented to by His Excellency the President at the time of finalization of the budget. Mr. Speaker, with this justification, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Committee Chair.
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, aware that the Minister has already put up a motion and aware that yesterday we handled batch 1 and under the same process batch 2 was handled. Would therefore like to lay on table the report of the committee together with the minutes of the meetings and the work plans of the entities. I beg to lay. Mr. Speaker, this House should take note that out of all those rationalized entities, most of them are going to have adjustments within the same votes. So the money will stay in the votes. It's only the affected votes are going to be National Identification, Registration Authority, Ministry of Works, Ministry of Agriculture, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority, National Planning Authority, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions. So those are the only ones going to be affected that will require transferring money. Mr. Speaker, I therefore, having had enough of the discussions, pray that we adopt the report and go straight to have the money supplied to those few votes. I beg to move.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, this is in line with yesterday's principle, which we agreed upon. Okay, and we said we receive this because the issues of yesterday are the issues of today in the same report. Honourable Minister, what I remember, one of the issues which I want to confirm is that the new vote which you had created, you have an accounting officer for it. We want it on record to know the name of the accounting officer, to be sure. So I request you to lay if you have it ready.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the document under my hand has a heading that reads as follows. Mr. Masagazi Deogracious, Under Secretary, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Appointment of Accounting Officer for financial year 2024-2025. And this letter is dated 6th February 2025. It is signed by
Ramadan Gobi, Permanent Secretary / Secretary to the Treasury. I therefore wish to confirm with this supporting document that vote 168, free zones and export promotion, has an accounting officer duly appointed. I beg to lay.
Thank you. No, Honorable Guzuri stood up first. You see the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad the Minister is attempting to act in accordance to with his commitments yesterday. We are getting into, according to the chair, we are getting into supplies, but to the best of my knowledge, the report he has presented here has not been looked into by the various sectoral committees to acquaint themselves thoroughly and justify what they want to do. And there's a process provided in the law. If we move as they are trying to do, Mr. Speaker, you should be sure you will be presiding over any legal electoral committees first. So you will have to decide whether you want to join in that illegality or you want this house to move as provided in the law. I just steps.
Thank you. Colleagues, the same report of yesterday. On 5 and revised work plans for the second batch of institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditures.
Item number 6 on the order paper. Motion for the House of Supply to consider supplementary schedule number 2 for financial year 20.
Right House to resolve itself to move.
The motion seconded. Government Chief Whip Chairman Isiagi, Honorable Shatse, Honorable Milton, Honorable Margaret, Honorable Komakesi, Dr. Pio, Honorable Kabe, Norman, Nyakato, Kajweje, Riyonga, many members. Bigger Rose, Abel, Katumba Wamara. Honorable Minister, would you love to speak to your motion?
Mr. Speaker and colleagues, Parliament 37 trillion for financial year 2024-25 disaggregated as follows. Uganda shillings 34.318 trillion appropriated budget by Parliament, and Uganda shillings 37.819 trillion as statutory expenditure. Right Honorable Speaker, Section 24 of the Public Finance Management Act Cap 171 states that the total supplemental expenditure that requires additional resources over and above what is approved by Parliament shall not exceed 3% of the total approved budget for that financial year without approval of Parliament. And 2, where the funds are expended shall be laid before Parliament within 4 months after the money is spent. Right Honorable Speaker and members, His Excellency the President assented the first and second batch of the RAPEX bills in July and December 2024 respectively. Consequently, I tabled motions for a resolution of Parliament to authorize this include Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, this for institutions affected by RAPEX. I have accordingly prepared 4.3 trillion for the 6 votes. This supplemental expenditure is to facilitate the transfer of funds from the rationalized votes to the receiving institutions to implement the mandate. Development shillings 7.066 billion. Mr. Speaker, I provide details of this supplementary as follows. Recurrent expenditure. Vote 137.036 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure of Uganda Registration Services Bureau, URSB. 7.178 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the function.
This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the functions received from National Roads Authority and Uganda Road Fund. Vote and Uganda Road Fund. Vote 010, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Uganda shillings 32.781 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and operationalize the functions received from the following rationalized votes. 1. Dairy Development Authority DDA. 2. National Agricultural Advisory Services NADS. 3. Cotton Development Authority. Cotton Development Organization. 4. Uganda Coffee Development Authority UCDA. Vote.
Honourable Minister, let me cross-check. Do we have this uploaded, clerk? Because members need to look at these figures. It's very critical. Yeah. Clerk, can I have a copy uploaded so that members go? Because these figures, we can't leave members to just read, take on face value. Colleagues, let's stand on this for 10 minutes, okay? And we have the item uploaded, and we return here. House suspended for 10 minutes. Thank you. So, order, honorable colleagues. Order. Yeah, so now the document is uploaded and let it be displayed on the screen. And honorable colleagues, ensure you get the figures very well. Honorable Minister, let's resume from where you had stopped.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I was on page 4, vote 168, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority. Uganda shillings 2.369 billion. This is required to facilitate the completion of the Free Zones Center in Entebbe that was approved in the financial year 2024-2025 budget and retool the Department of Export Promotion under the functions for Uganda Export Promotion Board that were transferred. Vote 108, National Planning Authority. Uganda shillings 6.207 billion. This is required to implement the revised structure and implement the mandate and functions of the rationalized National Population Council and the National Physical Planning Board. Vote 168, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority. Uganda shillings 0.859 billion. This is required to cater for contract gratuity and NSSF for staff of the new vote. Mr. Speaker, I now present the funding for the supplementary expenditure Schedule 2. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this supplementary Schedule 2 will be funded using the unreleased resources that had been appropriated to the rationalized votes. Mr. Speaker, my prayers are the following. I request this August House to consider and approve the supplementary request for recurrent and development budget totaling to Uganda shillings 1.236 trillion and approve statutory budget of 7.066 billion Uganda shillings. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of members from She Leads Uganda who appeared before the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs from Bukoori County, North Buji District. The delegation is led by Ms. Kagoya Reste Rachel. They are represented by Honorable Baka Stephen Mugabi and Honorable Vasari Rasman. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Yes, Government Chief Whip motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise under Rule 16 on suspension of rules to move a motion pursuant to item number 6 on the order paper for today that has just been dealt with by the Honorable Minister, that Rule 153, Sub-Rule 3 on referral, Sub-Rule 4 on consideration of the supplementary estimates, and Sub-Rule 5 on reporting back be suspended such that we can proceed with item number 6 until we finalize. The justification for this motion...
Seconded? Is the motion seconded? Chair Budget, Honorable Remricha, Honorable Mouma, Dubai. Thank you. Just a few are enough. Maybe Honorable Wadiomu to represent. Honorable Chief Whip, do you want to justify your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker, I have moved this motion in very, very good faith. One, from yesterday up to today, we are all preoccupied, and we agreed yesterday that today we shall give effect as the House in terms of approving this request from the Ministry of Finance and Government arising from the decision that we took as a House on RAPEX, where we transferred functions of certain agencies of government, and this will also facilitate the agencies whose resources and functions were transferred, such that under RAPEX they can be in a position to facilitate the budget process through the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee of this House has equally considered the motion on reallocation. So in my humble opinion, there would be no need going through the due processes under Rule 153. The reason why I have moved under Rule 16, that 153, 3, 4, and 5 be suspended in order for us to proceed with this item right now. I beg to move.
Thank you. Yes, Lop.
Honorable Speaker, firstly I want to oppose the motion, but additionally I would like to draw your attention to whether or not we have quorum, because we are going to discuss a very critical issue that has huge implications. I do not know that we have quorum, right, Honorable Speaker. So I draw your attention to ascertain that.
Just let me urge the members who are outside or enter. Okay? As yes, I saw very many members in the corridors. Then clerk helps me. Whips, please do your work, and then I'm able to. Then clerk, you help me to establish. Honorable Jonathan Odu.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I also rise to oppose this motion based on the following reasons. Rule 153 operationalizes Article 156 of the Constitution to that extent that it actually reproduces the provision of Article 156. By the move to suspend this rule, the mover also purports to suspend the provision of the Constitution. In that case, it would be unconstitutional. But I would also like to draw your attention, Mr. Speaker, that the motion that has been moved does not only deal with the reallocation, it also deals with other aspects of supplementary budget or supplementary expenditure. For example, we approved the transfer and reallocation of the civil registration function from Uganda Registration Services Bureau to the National Identification Registration Authority. The amount available that we approved in the reallocation is about 360 billion. But what we are required here is to approve a supplementary expenditure now amounting to over 1 point something billion shillings. That means the minister should actually help this House and separate the reallocation budget, which we already approved with the amounts, and then deal with the issue of the need by government to spend more money separately. And the procedure should be followed for that process. But what he has done is to bring it here omnibus. And by bringing this motion omnibus, Mr. Speaker, it will deny the sectoral committees the opportunity to interrogate the work plans that was presented, how far such work plans had been implemented, and what remains. And to even further confirm that the consensus we had yesterday was that the approval for the reallocation is an authorization given to the minister to go and initiate this process, and he would come back here and comply with the processes that we have. So I beg to oppose this motion and say you cannot suspend the provision of the Constitution in as far as the rules operationalizes it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Now, I just want first to clarify that the rules which the House felt can be suspended were clearly stated under Rule 16. In making those rules, Rule 153 is not among the rules you considered. This is, I'm just looking at Rule 16 where you clearly stated as a house the rules you can suspend. The rest will be for us to give our submissions, whether we agree that this can be, but me, as long as it does not offend Rule 16, any rule not provided for under Rule 16, the members will decide on whether it can be suspended or not. Number two, honorable colleagues, I want us to have a spirit. And we moved very well yesterday and even today. You are the same colleagues who have been putting us on pressure about emergencies in your constituencies, your roads, your what, and we are not having money is available, but it cannot be released until the process is completed. Okay? And the process is lagging on for long. So it will be you to decide, but Chairman Budget. Chairman Budget wanted
Mr. Speaker,
Chairman Budget wants to clarify on the issue
I would
raised
like
by
to clarify one thing and
by
confirm. I would like to confirm to the colleagues the figures Honorable Dur is talking about. There is no figure which is above the earlier approved budget. What we are talking about, 1 billion and 36 million. It's a wage which was 323, and the non-wage is 713. So I would like to remind the colleagues, Registrations Bureau transferring to NERA, according to them that they are moving from a salary scale. So their request was to have an additional 713 million for wage. The committee said no, at this stage, we are not
only accepted to the extent of what was available. So the fears of Honorable Dur have not been, have been taken care of here. So we are only transferring the available monies. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable
Yes.
colleagues, for the record, the people of Bukori are also represented by Honorable Agnes Tucker as a woman member of parliament, and she's in the house. So I want her voters to take note of that for the record. Yes, Honorable Lee.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also rising to oppose the motion, but first, let me build on what Honorable Dur submitted. And I would like to draw the attention of members to a report which was presented here by Honorable Abu Katuntu. In that report, he cited the case of Zake, where some rules were suspended the way we want to do now, and the suspension violated articles of the Constitution. We all know the Constitution is a supreme law that cannot be defeated by these other statutory instruments or acts. As far as the Constitution dictates that there is a process through which we process budget and supplementary expenditures or budget, it is important that this Parliament complies with that requirement. We cannot rise above what the Constitution has dictated. The Chair has just submitted now that Odur should not get scared. Mr. Chair, I want to draw your attention to a requirement of the Public Finance Management Act, which dictates that after every 3 months there should be expenditure report. If we were able to see expenditure report, then we would know out of the money we appropriated. So far this has been spent, and the balance is this, and it can move. You are trying to hide something very, very important. An example I gave yesterday is, if a procurement officer in UNRWA, for example, was being paid 10 million, and now your agenda for rationalization was to cut expenditure, and yet we know the procurement officer of Ministry of Works is paid 5 million. What is going to happen to the balance of 5 million which you...
Thank you. Honorable Bigaros.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we will not be scared to do the right thing. One, I know my brother is aware that Pakwachi is moving in. And this money we are appropriating is going to help us cross to West Nile. If we do not, of course, he who mourns should understand why the bereaved is mourning more than the bereaved. We have a challenge in West Nile. We can no longer cross. Very soon, Pakwachi will move in. We are getting accidents from Karuma to Pakwachi. You can imagine, you want to hold us here in Kampala. This is a serious area. This is so critical. Protection.
Honorable colleagues, honorable colleagues, a member has moved that we suspend the rules. The decision is yours. I put the question that the motion for suspension of Rule 153, 3, 4, and 5 of our rules of procedure be adopted. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, I have been informed by the clerk that the quorum here and online, we have 179 members, so I want it to be on record. Honorable colleagues, I put the question that the motion for the House to resolve itself into a committee of supply, consider the supplementary schedule number 2 for financial 2024-2025 be adopted. Those in favor sign, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Committee of Supply.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Rope, I haven't allowed you, please.
Yeah. Kindly allow me.
Let's move.
Right Honourable Speaker, I have a procedural issue. Right Honourable Speaker.
Vote 137, National Identification Regulatory Authority.
Honorable colleagues, I now propose the question that a total sum of 1,036,858,995 shillings be provided to Vote 137, National Identification Regulatory Authority, as a supplementary current expenditure for financial year 2024-2025. I now put the question that a total sum of 1,036,858,995 shillings be provided to Vote 137, National Identification Regulatory Authority, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, I request you take your seats. Honorable colleagues, I request you take your seats. I request you take your seats. I request you take your seats. Okay? I request you take your seats. But when a speaker is speaking, he speaks to you when you're seated. Okay? Now, honorable colleagues, listen. Honorable colleagues, next.
Vote 019, Minister of Water and Environment.
I now propose the question that a total sum of 7,178,181,120 shillings be provided to Vote 019, Minister of Water and Environment, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial year 2024-2025. I now put the question that a total sum of shillings 7,178,181,120 181,120 shillings be provided to vote 019, Minister of Water and Environment, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 016, Minister of Works and Transport.
I now propose a question that the total sum of 246 billion 155 million 118,160 shillings
a question of law has been raised.
Be provided to vote 016, Minister of Works and Transport, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. I now put the question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 246 billion 155 million 118,160 shillings be provided to vote 016, Minister of Works and Transport, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 010, Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
I now propose the question that a total sum of
Chair, there's
32 billion,
which we are raising
32 billion, that a total sum of 32 billion 781 million 117,491 shillings be provided to vote 010, Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial year 2024-2025. I now put the question that a total sum of shillings 32 billion 781 million 117,491 shillings be provided to vote 010, Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 168, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority.
Honorable colleagues, I now put the question that a total sum of 8 billion 875 million 535,879 shillings be provided to vote 168, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. I now put the question that the total sum of shillings, Uganda shillings, 8 billion 875 million 535,879 shillings be provided to vote 168, Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotion Authority, as supplementary recurrent expenditure for financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 108, National Planning Authority.
I now propose a question that a total sum of Uganda shillings 104 million 150,160 shillings be provided to vote 108, National Planning Authority, as supplementary development expenditure for financial year 2024-2025. I now put the question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 104 million 150,000.
Mr. Speaker, we are supposed to debate that.
Be provided to vote 108, National Planning Authority.
You have a right to comment on those figures.
For financial 2024-2025. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 934 billion 997 million 100. Honorable colleagues, anyone who has something?